No one plans to lose control of their life. It begins in small, unnoticed moments. When comfort starts making decisions for you. When discipline is delayed and excuses feel reasonable. Life does not attack loudly. It softens you slowly. You wake up, scroll longer than you should, postpone what matters, react emotionally instead of responding with control. And you tell yourself it is temporary. But repetition turns behavior into identity. The Stoics understood that the mind either trains command or trains weakness. There is no pause button. Every day you are becoming something, even when you think you are standing still. What feels harmless now becomes heavy later, because life remembers patterns, not intentions. And this is how the process of being humbled begins, quietly, invisibly, while you believe everything is still fine. So welcome back, Stoics, on Stoic Spark. Let's begin without any delay. Comfort never announces itself as danger. It feels warm, deserved, justified. It tells you that tomorrow will be better, that discipline can wait. That effort is optional today, but every time you obey comfort, you weaken the muscle of self-command. The Stoics warned that pleasure unmanaged becomes dependency, and dependency turns into loss of freedom. You begin avoiding silence, avoiding struggle, avoiding responsibility, and slowly your tolerance for discomfort disappears. Then one day small challenges feel overwhelming. Emotional reactions replace rational thought, and you wonder why life feels heavier than it should, not realizing the weight was added gradually by the choices you stopped questioning. Life is the strictest teacher when you refuse to train yourself. It teaches through consequence instead of preparation. Missed opportunities, lost respect, inner frustration, anxiety without a clear source, all signs that self-mastery was neglected. Discipline is not punishment. It is protection. It is choosing discomfort now so life does not force it later. The Stoic path begins when you stop negotiating with weakness and start commanding your actions. Either you master your impulses daily through conscious effort, or life will master you through regret and humiliation. There is no neutral outcome, only self-rule or surrender. The real battle is never outside of you. It is fought in the silent space between impulse and action, in the second where emotion demands reaction and discipline demands restraint. Most people lose this war daily without even realizing it. They speak before thinking, quit before finishing, scroll instead of building, and each small surrender weakens their authority over themselves. The Stoics trained for this exact moment. They understood that power is not loud. It is controlled. It is the ability to feel anger without obeying it, to feel fear without retreating, to feel desire without collapsing into it. When you fail to master this inner war, life does not need to defeat you. You defeat yourself through uncontrolled habits and emotional decisions. But when you begin winning those silent battles, even in small ways, something shifts inside you. You feel steadier, heavier in presence, harder to shake, and that quiet stability becomes the foundation of unbreakable strength. Life does not debate your excuses. It responds only to your patterns. You may justify procrastination, emotional outbursts, laziness, distraction, but consequences move forward without listening. They show up as missed chances, broken trust, financial pressure, weakened health, silent regret. The Stoics accepted this reality without bitterness. They knew the universe does not bend for comfort. It rewards preparation and punishes neglect. Every repeated weakness becomes a future limitation. Every avoided responsibility becomes a heavier burden later. This is why self-mastery is not optional. It is survival, because if you refuse to discipline yourself, life will discipline you through outcomes you cannot control. And those lessons are always harsher than the effort you tried to avoid. When a man begins mastering himself, His presence changes before his circumstances do. He speaks less but means more, reacts slower but thinks deeper, moves with intention instead of impulse. This transformation is not dramatic. It is subtle, almost invisible at first, but it builds internal gravity, the kind people feel without understanding. The Stoics believed character is built in private before it is revealed in public. And once you develop control over your emotions, habits, and attention, life stops feeling chaotic because you are no longer chaotic. You stop blaming, stop complaining, stop seeking validation, and start commanding your direction. This is the dividing line between being humbled by life and standing firm within it. Because the man who controls himself cannot be easily shaken, and the one who cannot will always be at the mercy of circumstance. There is a moment where excuses stop sounding convincing and avoidance starts feeling expensive. This is where real change begins, not when life collapses, but when you decide to stop escaping effort. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is the training ground of self-mastery. Every time you choose the harder option, stay silent instead of reacting, focus instead of distracting, act instead of delaying, you reclaim authority over yourself. Most people wait for motivation, but disciplined men move without it, because they understand motivation is emotional and discipline is structural. The Stoic way is simple but demanding. Do what strengthens you even when you do not feel like it, because feelings pass and character remains. Once you stop running from discomfort, life loses one of its main weapons against you. Life responds differently to those who command themselves, not because it is kind, but because discipline creates readiness. Challenges still come, pressure still exists, but they no longer overwhelm you because you are internally ordered. When others panic, you pause. When others react, you assess. When others complain, you endure. This quiet competence changes outcomes over time. Opportunities open, respect increases, inner peace stabilizes. The Stoics believed you cannot control events, but you can control your response, and that response determines the quality of your life. When you master yourself, life no longer needs to humble you, because you have already humbled your ego through discipline. This is the truth few accept. Life will test everyone, but it only humiliates those who refuse preparation. Self-mastery is not about perfection, it is about consistency, choosing control again and again even after failure. The path is quiet, often lonely, rarely celebrated, but it builds something nothing can take from you. Either you command your habits, emotions, and attention, or they command you and hand control to circumstance. If this message stayed with you, it is because you already sense what must change. Subscribe to Stoic Spark and turn on the bell, because this path is not walked once. It is built daily, step by disciplined step.